Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well out there. Let's get into some stuff today. So Nvidia reported last night. Again, another huge, massive beat for Nvidia. I have my theories on Nvidia. Probably shouldn't say them, but Nvidia is an interesting company to me. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at some other tech, see how it's reacting. We'll follow up on my SkyWest CCL Lululemon trade. We'll check that out, and then of course we'll get to any questions that you guys have. And please don't just if you have more questions than just stocks, please send them over. If you've been watching that long 2.5 hour video, if you've been watching the Trading 101 series, if you are new and you have no idea what's going on, welcome. Ask any questions that you have. There are no dumb questions. If you have the question, probably everybody has the same question, so send them over. Let's get over to the charts on TradingView right now, and we will begin. So Nvidia, another beat. Here you go, top and bottom line beat. Look at this revenue, 39.33 billion. Sheesh. Go to the last quarter, 35 billion. Go to the previous quarter, 30 billion. Go to the 26 billion, 22 billion. I just don't know. I think I know, but I don't know. So Nvidia today, what are we doing here? We're down about 4.5%. Don't know why. I don't know what else they said in there, but that's what's going on. I do see that we are stopping here at the 200-day moving average. Pretty much we're going to fall. Even look at this day here. This was this big day when everything dropped big time. What happened? Kind of hugged the 200. Yes, it dropped below it a bit, but what happened? It pulled it right back to the 200. So it seems like the 200 is probably going to be as low as you're going to get here. Now, could you trickle down like this? Yes. You're probably going to get sucked back to the 200 at some point. So I would just focus on that 200-day moving average and kind of let it be your guiding light to where things go with Nvidia. Okay, now let's go see what some other tech stocks are doing right now. Just reacting to the Nvidia news. Let's see, Apple was down at 2.7% yesterday. It's basically flat today. Tesla has been down significantly. So look at this. We were down about 2%, 5%, 2%, 8.5%, 4%, and then today. So we've been down for 6 straight sessions on Tesla. Now, with that being said, it was a nice swing trade if you were courageous enough to get into that. Here's a couple of things I see here. One, let's go back as far as we possibly can here, because actually the further I zoom out, the more important this level becomes. So here we are, obviously. Look at this, kind of support, then you go back in here. This is 23, this is 23, then you come back here, 22, 22, 22, then you come back here, 22. All throughout here, you're getting into 21. Here was your big run up. And then back here in 21, you kind of see that if you just look at the chart, you can kind of see that's a kind of halfway point. So it's not that this is a consolidation channel, but it's kind of a consolidation channel. Obviously, I don't consider consolidating over a 4-year period. That would just be silly to do. But if you zoom the chart out, you can kind of see it's hugging this area. So now that we're back to this area, be very cautious. Do I think it can come down here? 100%. Do I think it can go back up here? 100%. But just be aware that in the meantime, especially since having 6 straight days of a down stock, 6 straight days, it's probably going to level off right here at this very strong support level and maybe rebound back a little bit. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the odds are that it's probably going to happen in some capacity like that. See what Meta's doing. Meta has also had a rough go for the last 6 or 7 days. Amazon, same deal, maybe a little bit less than 6 days, maybe 3 days. Google, big drop off here. Look at Google. You've had a minus about 2.5%, minus 2%, minus 2%, minus 1.5%, and then today another minus 1.5%. So interesting what you're seeing on these Magnificent Seven. Microsoft down a little bit. Okay, now I want to go, before we go any further, I want to see my list. So let's see. These are trades that I'm in right now. So SkyWest. So as I said to you with SkyWest, if you wanted to swing trade it, I think I said this on whatever day it was. I said you're going to have to sell coming into this area right here because that's support, and it dates back even further on the chart. But this is the end of the trade, basically. Plus, you were starting to get this roll up. I think I said that on Tuesday. Me, I'm not in it for that purpose. I'm in it for the long-term trade. So I'm paying attention to the trend. I said we need to get a pullback. You can't just go like this. So let's pull up a line chart because that's the big lesson that I kind of talked about on Monday or Tuesday. Perfect. Now, look at this, guys. I said, this is too much. This is just too big of a fall. I need a rebound in the stock price, and because this is not enough. And look what happened. I'm starting to get that rebound, but look at this. I'm going to try to see if I can zoom into this a little bit more. Look at this. Let me see. Actually, you know what? Let me just pull up the whiskers because it's a straight line. If I go there, see how the whisker is just slightly above this peak right here? See that? It's not much, but you see where when we ran back up, we stopped and went back down. That's the power of these kind of pullbacks. That's the power of pullbacks, even here. See this peak here? This peak on the right is lower than this peak on the left. See that? That's the power of these pullbacks, even here. This peak is lower than this peak. You're making new lows. Every time you kind of make an M formation, it's new lows. I think it's fantastic. So that's SkyWest. So this is great what's happening right now. The biggest thing to focus on is this, which is absolutely perfect. Volume is completely falling off after yesterday and the day before, which ran up for some reason. So here we're good to go. CCL. CCL is shaping up very nicely. I have my tracker share on this. Really what needs to happen is we need to break away from the 100-day moving average. You can see the 100-day moving average is playing a pivotal role. Let's just break away from it. At some point, let's just get down here. Once we get down here, once this arrow occurs, this will be in the sweet spot and we will be off to the races. It's failing the 50% rule and everything is shaping up extremely nicely. Lulu. Same thing. Lulu, all we're trying to do is get below these different support levels. We just want to drop below that. As soon as that happens, this explodes. We break into the sweet spot. Let's just get below the 100-day moving average, and it's going to be very, very nice to move on from. Okay, let's go Zim. I saw somebody had a question about that one. Let's see what the trend is first. So here's something that especially new people need to pay attention to. This is undoubtedly a perfect engulfing candlestick, right? Right. But you're engulfing right into the 100-day moving average, and your volume it's good, it's fine, but let the red and yellow get into the sweet spot. Just because you have a nice engulfing candlestick and you haven't made a trade in 3 weeks doesn't mean that you just get excited and go after things. You're still running into the 100, probably not going to get below the 100 today. And if it does, it's going to hit the 200 and bounce right back up. And you need to be in the sweet spot with both red and yellow. So be patient here. Be patient here. That's the biggest driving factor right now if I'm looking at that. Okay. Let's just go all the way back to the top, Hans. Well, the 100-day moving average, save SPX. Probably, if I had to guess. Yeah, so look at this. Okay, good. Look at this. Actually, let's just zoom out here. Watch here. So we're going to go all the way back to, this is kind of where it started, November of 23. So you ran up, cool, came back down, hit the 100, went back up, came back down, hit the 100, came back up, hit the 100, came here, hit the 100. So you're back to the 100. Yeah, it's probably going to stay at the 100, and it's not going to get any lower than that. Unless something catastrophic happens, but APP long, short if it breaks the 100. So it seems, so as we're seeing here, guys, the 100 is definitely playing a very strong role in this market right now, not just in the indices, but also in the individual stocks. So we need to pay attention to these 100-day moving averages and make sure you realize that the 100 plays a very, very pivotal role. You need to make sure that you're getting through these 100-day moving averages. Now, I don't mean just going below the price by $1 I shouldn't use dollars, a couple of maybe a half a percentage point. No, you need to make sure you get below the 100, let's say by 1 to 2%, and you close there and you open the next day below that number. We don't want to creep back above the 100-day moving average. So in looking at what I'm looking at with Advanced Auto Parts, it seems like they reported earnings, I'm assuming last night or this morning before the market. So they reported this morning before the market. I have no idea what this means. I don't understand how they're losing money like this. It doesn't really matter to me. But they're down 17% yesterday. Wait, this was yesterday, was it not? Sorry, 26th. Okay, so what's the volume? So volume is still high for this stock. You can see average volume is about 2 million shares traded per day. We're at about 700,000. So you're going to get about 50% of average volume by 10:30 this morning. I think that's high. That's you shouldn't, if you have 50% of average volume by 10:30 on a stock, that's just not normal. So let things chill out. I would say wait until tomorrow, wait until Monday. See if this stays below the 100. I could see something coming out where this jumps back above the 100, but just be careful. Be careful, okay? AXP, American Express, AXP, long-term short if we get an engulfing candle down that breaks 286-ish. Again, look at this, guys, right on the 100-day moving average. So you can see 100, the 100-day moving average is just a big deal right now. Let's see. And this actually looks almost exactly like the S&P 500. Look at going back to November, right? Here's where you cross the 100. Nothing. On the 100, back up. On the 100, back up. On the 100, on the 100. So you're all over the 100. So I'm not, if I was a betting person, which I'm not, I would bet that you're not going to break below the 100. American Airlines, long and short. Jets is another one I want to look at real quick after this one. Just popped into my head. American Airlines long short. This is a perfect example of what I was just talking about. Make sure you close the day below the 100 and then tomorrow follow through. But this is really, really nice. I like what you're seeing here. This is great. Let's zoom this out. Come on. So why am I zooming this out? I'm trying to draw in these different levels of resistance or support. So that's where you are. You'll probably get to 1271. You might get to $12. You might. But 1271, call it 1275, is kind of your number that you're gonna get stopped at on the way back down. Now let's go to Jets real quick. So I have a tracker share on Jets. For those of you that don't know, let's clear this out too. Okay, tracker share on Jets. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to break here. When it breaks here, and again, when it breaks the 100, this will start moving into the sweet spot and I'll have a nice short on it. But you got to break the 100. And I wonder if this actually lines up similar to, no, it's different than the S&P 500. Okay. I'm ready to short Microsoft if Bill Gates is on the Epstein list. Yeah. I hope something comes out about that today. That'll be incredible to read. All right. Let's see. SMCI. SMC is a super micro. Yeah, super micro. Ooh, all over the place. So here's what I'm seeing with this one. God, this has been a volatile 4 months, 5 months. Look at this. This is chaos. What the hell is going on here? How do you have a stock that, what's the market cap on this thing? Hans, can you look up the market cap on this real quick for me? How do you have whatever this is with just gap, not gap, and then gap down, jump back up, gap. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Plus 13%, plus 16%, plus 8%, minus 2%, minus 5%, minus 8%, minus 12%, plus 12%, minus 10%. What the heck? So who asked me this question? Sheila. To me, I'm out. I'm out. This is chaos. I don't understand. You're going to get burned by this. I mean, one day you could be up 13%, then the next day you're down 12%, then the next day you're up 20%. It's just too much for me. My personal opinion, don't do something like this unless you want to come over here and trade it on, what is the ticker symbol? SMCI. Unless you want to come over here and trade it on a 15-minute chart. Look, you've had some nice runs. Yeah, this is probably the way to do it. You've had some nice runs during the day, really nice run down, really nice run down. Nothing really there. Decent over here. You might get you had a nice run down this morning. Let's just zoom out more. Nice run. Nice run in the afternoon. This is the way to do it. That's the way to play this thing. Nice run. Yeah, this is the way to play this thing. 6.43 billion. Okay, thank you. So this is think about it this way, guys. This is a $6.43 billion market cap, which is, in the grand scheme of things, is not that big of a company in the U.S. anymore. But you're telling me that the value of this company is changing 16.5% on a random February Tuesday morning, and then the following week, the following Monday, it's worth 8% less, then 12% less, then the following day, it's worth 12% more, and 10% less the following day. It's just too much. That's not something that I would enjoy trading. And neither will you, and you'll hate trading after that. But I would trade it here on the 15-minute chart. Is Jonathan here? Yeah, Jonathan mentioned CCL. Jonathan, you should probably look at this thing on because I know you love day trading. I think you should put Super Microcomputer on your list of stocks to trade, because this is something. This is really something. Look at this. So look at this. So here you had, let's look at this big run up. Look, you were in the sweet spot. You had good buying volume coming in. Okay, next day, you were in the sweet spot, good buying volume, nice run up. I wouldn't have traded anything on this day. Let me go this way. Let's see here. Down. No, nothing really there. What about here? Yeah, here. You had a pretty nice run down. You could have entered at some point during that trade. You were coming down. So it seems at least multiple times a week, you can execute a trade on. Here's another. Let's look at this one. Here's a pretty nice run up right here. And there you were with increasing volume. See that? Great. Increasing volume. Nice run up in the sweet spot. Yeah, I like this one. I think this is great. All right. SMCI was on the verge of getting delisted. They have some funny accounting business going on. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay. All right. No problem, Sheila. No problem, Jonathan. All right. Let's go. AVGO. This is Broadcom. I looked at this on Tuesday. Don't remember what I said about it, so let's do it again. AVGO is a short long. Oh, okay. I see what you're seeing. But again, just pay attention to the 100-day moving average. So yes, I do see what you're seeing here, but let's check out when this earnings report is. March 6th. So they report earnings next week. Honestly, I would just avoid this one, and I remember now. I said, get by earnings. I think I said on Tuesday, get by earnings, get below the 100. I wouldn't do anything with this one right now. Okay, I did the wrong stock, huh, Hans? APP? APP. App Lovin. Whoa. I wouldn't do anything with this either. I mean, you could have swung this down. Not bad, but not something I love Vale. I don't know. This is the Brazilian something. Brazilian, some kind of energy. Below the 100. Okay, it's getting below the 100. Nice. Yeah, I actually think if you close the day, so I would look at it from this chart over here. If you close the day here, or I shouldn't say close, if you get to like 3:55 in the afternoon, of course Eastern time, 5 minutes before the market's going to close, and you get here, yeah, maybe execute a trade on it, and not maybe, definitely execute a trade on it, and try to run this down to the 25-day moving average because your trend is looking good, your volume is pretty decent. You just need to make sure that you close here at the bottom because what you don't want to happen is this looks really good right now at 10:21 in the morning, but by the end of the day, it goes like this, and that's what your candle finishes the day looking like, basically a hammer formation. That's not what you want. So you got to. So if it was me, I would wait for about 3:55, the end of the day. Now, if it keeps going like this, if it keeps going down, yeah, go for it in the middle of the day, but that's not where we're at right now. Day trade on 3M. So 3M has to be a hard stock to day trade just because the beta is incredibly low. Yeah, you could have added here. This is probably when you asked me the question. Oh, no, you didn't ask me the question here. Maybe you did. Yeah, you probably asked me the question during this. You could have entered here. No, I take that back. Look, paying attention to the trend, you would want to be entering on this candle. So if this thing takes out the high of the day, so if this takes out the high, which is going to be 152.27, you could probably execute a trade here. But I wouldn't do anything until I take out that high. Palantir, long-term shorts. Okay. Palantir and Hood, long-term shorts if you engulf past the 50. Okay. So this has been a rocky road, I think, for yeah, I agree. So you filled the gap. Cool. Good job. That was one challenge. But your next challenge is getting down here. And if you get down here, if you get down in this area, what does that mean? Well, it means that you're below the 50, which is very important. And if you're below the 50, what happens? Well, you come back to this chart. This will more likely than not be in the sweet spot moving down. So everything should set up as long as you break below the 50, just like Hans said. So Palantir is looking pretty good. Let it get below the 50-day moving average, and I think you will be a happy camper. Robinhood. Kind of the same thing. It does, but I don't think, let me go back to Palantir real quick. So look at this stochastic. Look down here. And then let's go to, excuse me. See this one? Is already on its way back up. I think I would, if I had to choose between the two, I would say that Palantir is more likely to drop below the 50-day moving average than Robinhood. Also, Robinhood has shown that once it got below the 50, it was able to pull itself back up. So I think I would be looking at Palantir instead of Robinhood. VALE is pronounced Valley, but the A is pronounced A. Valley? Oh, Valley. Nice. Deco. What was their commodity? I know it's in Brazil. I just can't remember what it was. I should probably know this. Thanks for the feedback. Serve below the 200-day moving average. SERV. Serve. Well, here's what I would say about this one. I would not trade this stock until after April 18th. Why April 18th? This is the first day that they were ever alive. And I knew that because the 200-day moving average is barely there. I like to trade stocks that are 365 days old. So if you wanted to, yeah, you probably have enough here where you're probably going to have enough resistance here. It consolidated enough during its short amount of lifespan. But the problem is if you drop below this level, not a lot of data here, you know. And it looks like you have earnings coming up soon. Yeah, Thursday. I wouldn't trade this stock. I would wait until maybe end of April. Let 365 days happen. This is not a common thing that I say anymore, just because there's not a lot of new IPOs out there anymore. But if you go to 2020, 2021, you had 900 and hold on. You guys can't see this, but I just want to see the number of SPAC analytics. In 2000 and 968. In 2021, there were 968 IPOs. In 2025, there's been 23. Last year, there was 133. So I don't get a chance to say this very often because there's just not a lot of new IPOs anymore. But metals and mining, I thought it was metals and mining. I thought it was like iron ore or something like that. I thought that they rolled with Cleveland Cliffs in some capacity. So, yeah. Let 365 days go, buy a stock, have a 1 year of a chart before you do anything. All right. Thank you for that answer, Sheila. Okay. Who is next? What other questions do you guys have this morning? I hope you guys are finding a lot of use in what we're doing here. If you're not in the Patreon, join it, because it's a great place to be if you're a new trader. It's a lonely journey out there. I know that many of you are probably looking at this like, I don't know what this guy is talking about. It's much easier if you have a community to trade with. And I said this in a video recently that I made earlier this week, but I don't say it often enough. When I started trading, when I joined my first community, it was $140 or $145. And you got way less than I'm giving you right now. You got email support, but it was a long time ago. There wasn't really YouTube. You got email support, and maybe they would answer you throughout the day. Maybe. But probably not. They would answer you the next day when it was a completely useless time to answer you. So the fact that you can talk to not only me, but other people is incredibly helpful. You have all the video resources, $35 a month. Try it. There's a lot of more dumb things that you do for $35 a month. All right. What's up, Tyson? LYV. Okay, LYV. Live Nation. This thing just keeps going, huh? Well then, Hans, look at this, man. Wow. So, Hans, I actually think that we're setting up here. Wow. We just need to get below the 50. If we get below the 50, you might actually have a run here. Get below the 50, and then we might be able to consider, because earnings is out of the way. What was the earnings report? So they beat on top and bottom line. And here's the thing, guys. I talk about this all the time. They were expected to lose $1.12. They ended up beating by 58 cents. And on the bottom, they beat by a couple million. But look at this. Give me whiskers. Down 2%, up 4, down 6.5, down 2, and down again. Dang. So interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So don't trade earnings, but I like what we're seeing here with Live Nation. Okay. If a stock is hard to borrow, does that make it likely short squeeze? I don't know if it makes it a likely short squeeze. It definitely makes it easier. Makes it an easier short squeeze, but I don't know if it's likely. Honestly, until the GameStop thing happened, and what was the other one? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. The GameStop saga and all that. AMC, that's what it was. Short squeezes, of course, they happened, but short squeezes were not very popular in the media. So, like when I started. I remember when we were making videos about short squeezes and having to explain what a short squeeze was, because no one ever heard of them. So it's just maybe I don't know. All right. Yeah, Patreon is cheap. It's so cheap. Let's see. I appreciate it, Steve and Hans. I appreciate it. All right. Mo swears I'm going to come in to some money one day, and when I do, I'll have this in my pocket. Yeah. It is a skill that you're going to use for the rest of your life, guys. Skill that you're going to use for the rest of your life. It's a great play. And not only for yourself, but you can teach this to your kids. Man, I started doing this when I was 14 years old. You could teach this to your kids. It's simple pattern recognition. Anybody can do this. You just got to dedicate yourself to it and recognize patterns. So, all right, guys. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Fantastic questions today. We're going to keep following up on my 3 trades. I'm excited to see what you guys can do with that super micro thing, SMCI. I can't wait to see some of the day trades that come out of that. I think you guys will be very profitable when it comes to that. If you're not in the Patreon, join it, review it through the weekend, come back next week, hop on, and we will talk about it. Ask any questions that you have in the chat. Have a great day. Bye.